Hello viewers, welcome back to Dragon Warrior 3. My audio is too loud. There we go. I have no idea what we're going to talk about today.
We could try talking about the game.
Everybody does that. We could talk about a different game.
Well, that'll probably end up happening anyway. I mean, given our previous video...
This is true, and we have an hour to kill this time.
Yeah. We will murder it with great murdertude.
I could play another game in the background and talk about it while we watch this. Soak in the talking to the king, viewers. I don't very much do it.
Someone named Kandarle stolen the golden crown from the castle. You will be a true hero, Rexstart.
I don't like...
Eskimo spy.
I don't like this Kandarle fellow.
I don't like that Kandarle fellow either. I think I recall him being the first, like, roadblock in this game where you suddenly get to him and he just beats the ever-loving snot out of you.
Yep. I remember how this battle ended, and I'm not going to spoil it. But his shenanigans aren't really shenanigans.
I remember how excited I was when I got this game and it had the, you know, folded up paper map. And you unfold it, you look at it, and you're like, this looks a lot like our world.
I remember when I realized that in the Super Nintendo Let's Play.
Because that had the map with it, right? Like the internal map.
I think it did. Pretty sure it did.
Yeah.
This needs that.
I don't know. I mean, back in the day, I thought it was really cool that these came with external maps. So you didn't have to stop what you're doing to look at the map.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that completely. I just wish that they had internal maps for this day and age.
Sure, they're just going to add those internal maps right into the emulator.
Right. Because I can go to GameFAQs and I can look up maps. A person named X Loto went and made like maps for everything that has ever existed in the Dragon Warrior Quest universe. But the problem is he built them all after the Dragon Quest names. And so while I'm looking for one place that the game tells me to go to, I'm looking on the map and it doesn't exist.
Well, that's the one problem with GameFAQs, is that it combines the, like, Japanese and American versions, and sometimes that results in very confusing walkthroughs.
Yes. Many, and some walkthroughs are just bad. What was I looking up? It was in my Final Fantasy III Let's Play. I was looking up a walkthrough. And this guy's like, you can buy the arrow spell here, but you really shouldn't. It's not very good. And then for like the next 3 videos, arrow was one hit killing everything that I ran into. So that guy didn't get his walkthrough looked at anymore.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Man, look at all these monsters being all stationary and stuff.
Makes me long for the days of...
Super Nintendo?
Well, not even that sometimes. What? Let's see. They moved in Breath of Fire. And they...
That's Super Nintendo.
And they move in Treasure of the Rudra. I can't remember.
I don't recall what system that was for.
Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Rudora no Hi-How. Or whatever. I can't think of any other RPGs in which the enemies moved.
Well, I mean, I guess... No, yeah, I mean, the NES ones, they didn't really do so.
No. Even in the Super Nintendo Dragon Warrior games, they didn't. Like, they stayed stationary until they attacked. Then they would have an attack animation.
Well, that's still something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Final Fantasy, they didn't really move either.
Nope.
Your guys moved.
See, that's another thing I never really cared for about the Dragon Warrior games. Because, like, Final Fantasy, I can see what I'm doing. Dragon Warrior, I have to imagine it.
Yeah, one of my friends has a similar complaint. Though, Dragon Warrior 9, you do get to see your guys.
Yeah, but... what's his name?
I don't know.
I am not a huge fan of the character design.
Oh, Kira Toriyama?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, but he's been doing that since the beginning.
I know. I've never been a big fan of it, though.
It's just not as noticeable with...
With 3 color sprites.
Yeah. Looking for the Iron Claws?
Yep.
Never can remember if they actually are there or if it's just a hint and then you buy them in the store.
You know, they're there in the Super Nintendo version.
Are they?
I looked over and over again here, and they're not there. That's something else I looked up. I got the walkthrough, and I was... Because I never really explored the pyramid. Spoiler alert, viewers. We're going to a pyramid.
It'll be in Egypt.
Or very, very near to it. There we go. Got a sliver in my hand. The walkthrough's like, well, you can get this secret item in the basement, that I'm not going to tell what it is, that is cursed. But as soon as you leave, the curse no longer affects you.
Really?
No, that's a lie.
Ah.
And the curse is you get into a battle every 2 steps. If you're lucky. It's usually every 1 step.
So, in other words, you just start playing Lufia.
Right. And no amount of fairy water can help.
I always find that kind of interesting about the Dragon Warrior stuff, that the stuff that's cursed, there is an actual risk versus reward element to them.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there's like the Hella Hammer or something, and it's like, almost every time you hit, it'll be a crit.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't hit as often.
It's like, well, it can't be as bad as the Casey bat. Which had like a less than 10% chance of hitting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that bad, but still pretty bad. But at the same time, like, a lot of people have realized that the hammer is one of the best weapons for fighting metal things, because crits get through their defense. So, as long as you can hit them, which, I mean, you're unlikely to hit them with a regular weapon anyway, you've pretty much guaranteed the kill.
Right. That makes sense. It's kind of like in Final Fantasy IV. You can give your mage a staff that's elemental based, and it will do amazing damage if you can hit it. I started recording that today, so I'm very excited. I love that game. Which is very different from this game, which I tolerate.
Amusingly enough, I'm the opposite.
Man, I think that's in my top 3 favorite Final Fantasy games.
Final Fantasy IV?
Yeah. I love how they handled the characters coming and going, and the music was great, and I liked the plot. Just loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually started a Let's Play of that like 4 times and never completed it because I was never happy with how I did it. So I'd get like 3/4 of the way through the game and be like, forget it. Just scrap the whole thing.
I think I remember once playing it on emulator, getting to the moon, and then getting frustrated with the moon for whatever reason, and stopping.
The moon can be very frustrating.
But then, when I got it, like when I got the Game Boy Advance version, I just tore through the game.
Yeah.
Or actually no, it wasn't it was the DS version.
Mm-hmm. I have issues with the DS version. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. Though I do kind of like the idea that like the characters have like their little gemification or whatever that lets them pass on their abilities. That was kind of a neat little feature.
Yeah, I didn't get in the game on the DS far enough to experience that.
Pretty much when a character left you for good, they'd give you like a gem of theirs that had like their special moves, so you could teach it to someone else.
That seems to eliminate the whole point of the class system in that game to me.
Sure. Well, the thing is, like, I realize what Final Fantasy likes to do with their remakes is they'll give a feature that makes the rest of the game easier, but then they'll create some sort of like secret boss that requires you to pretty much use that new system completely in order to actually win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I believe I remember reading about some sort of secret boss in that game that, you know, you really wanted to make sure you played through the game like 3 times, because I think after 3 times you couldn't carry over the data anymore, so you could do Game Plus 2 more times, and then you'd have to kind of like start over. So you want to play all 3 times, get as many of those gems as possible, build your perfect little group of guys, and then fight the secret boss. I decided I don't care enough to actually do it.
They put a new game plus in Final Fantasy IV?
Yeah.
Why?
Uh.
Oh my god. My initial biggest problem was they pronounced everybody's name wrong. And now, since the DS version has come out, everybody on the planet has decided that the incorrect way to pronounce names is the correct way to pronounce the names.
Like Cecil versus Cecil?
Yeah.
Now, then again, this is coming from you, like the person who purposely mispronounces everything.
I don't not. I just put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
You changed the emphasis of the syllables.
Yeah, but it's cute when I do it.
No, it isn't.
I think it is.
Uh-huh.
I might be the only one. But that's okay. I don't have to prove myself to nobody. When I was a kid, and I mentioned this in the Let's Play.
You were never a kid.
I was for about a week. And I think my dog died or something. And then I turned into like Ebenezer Scrooge. I knew 2 people who spelled their name Cicil. One was a little bit older than me, and one was quite a bit older than me. He was...
Did you say C-I-C-I-L?
C-E-C-I-L. I might have said
Okay.
C-I, but if I did, I meant C-E.
Okay.
And both of them, it's Cecil. It's Cecil. It's Cecil. So, ingrained in my head, it's Cecil.
Well, I believe Cecil and Cecil is a difference between, like, English and American English.
Right. I noticed that they did that in New Vegas. Because there was a Caesar and Caesar, which I think they just made Caesar up. Because I don't see how you could get Caesar from that spelling. But maybe that's just me.
Well, that again could be the Germanic pronunciation.
It could be.
Because you know Kaiser Bill.
Mhm.
Well, Kaiser is Caesar.
Mm-hmm. And then there was von Kaiser, the German steel machine.
And Superman, the American Man of Steel.
No, the Man of Steel was the black guy in the suit.
Wasn't that Punisher? No, it wasn't Punisher. That was like
There was...
Oh, I know what you mean. Steel, right?
Yeah.
He had like the big maul.
Yeah. He was in the Death of Superman book, or whatever it was.
Right. Who was the black guy in Iron Man who got his own little armor? War Machine, that's what it was.
I'm glad you knew that, because I didn't. I gave up on watching comic book-based movies a long time ago.
But Scarlett Johansson.
I don't know who that is.
Really? I'm sure you probably know her from like Ghost World.
I probably do.
Or Lost in Translation.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, that was a good movie.
That was a good movie.
Why watch...
And anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
This is true. And so I'm like, I could watch Thor, or I could watch Lost in Translation. I'll watch Lost in Translation every time.
Somehow I suspect you didn't watch Lost in Translation while everyone else was watching Thor.
No, I actually watched it.
Oh no, you're poisoned. Very poisoned.
I don't remember what I was fighting that did that. I think it was probably
Sorry.
wasps.
Damn those white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Thank God Nicolas Cage wasn't here. Speaking of bad movies, how about that Wicker Man?
I actually watched Wicker Man.
I did too, thinking, wow, this sounds pretty good. And it's got Nicolas Cage in it. I watched it one time.
I like Nicolas Cage generally.
I do too, which was why I expected more from that movie.
Like, even The Sorcerer's Apprentice, I was expecting to just completely be retarded, and yet Nicolas Cage was enjoyable.
I haven't watched that yet.
But I like Gone in 60 Seconds quite a lot.
I haven't watched that either.
No? It's a fun
I
movie.
think the last movie I watched was Jaws. Because Terry hadn't seen it.
That's, well, I mean, maybe it's the most recently seen movie, but I mean that movie definitely predates Lost in Translation.
Right. The most current movie I watched was Star Trek.
The newest one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the new Star Trek movies.
You know, it wasn't bad. I didn't love it. I thought it was kind of weird, and I thought they were just like making stuff up half the time. But it was pretty enjoyable.
You know, I've never seen Wrath of Khan.
I was watching, speaking of Star Trek and Wrath of Khan and all this,
Kandarle.
I was watching Futurama last night.
Uh-oh.
And they had the episode where they had all of the original Star Trek cast. And they got trapped on the planet and had to like have a battle to the death. It was enjoyable.
Man, this fight is so hard first time you get here.
Oh, yes, it is. Okay, we were talking about how I don't understand spells in this game.
Okay.
There are two I understand. Fire and ice.
You mean Blaze and Ice Bolt?
Right, because they're fire and ice.
Yeah. And then there's Fire Bell.
And I don't know
Which
what
is
the
also
difference
fire.
is.
Fire Bell is a group target spell, while Blaze is a single target spell.
They didn't just call it Blazel?
Nope.
Blazele?
They were two different spell chains. There's Blaze, Blazemore, and Blazemost, and then there was Fireball, Fire
Balmore?
Bane, and Firebolt.
I just can't follow it.
Something like that.
So let me tell you what sucks here. My witch is dead. And poor Jimmy. Poor Jimmy. He's not doing too good.
Yeah, but he's a goof off. No one was really expecting him to do very good.
I had high hopes for Jimmy.
No, you didn't.
I did. As soon as he hits level 20.
Yeah, well,
I just wish his luck carried over.
I kind of wish that your hero wasn't your healer.
But it worked in Earthbound.
Yeah, I guess Ness is kind of the healer in that.
He's gotta be until Pooh shows up.
Yeah. I have to say, one of the most fascinating things about Earthbound, or specifically playing it in Japanese, was seeing the different names that you could get.
Mm-hmm.
Because they all got changed in the American version.
The don't care names?
Yeah. Like, they had, like, Ness was Mario, and Paula was Peach, and Rex became Yoshi. And they had one where, like, all of them were named after Beatles members, and Paula's name was Yoko.
That's a good idea.
Then there's one where they were all named after Japanese, like, J-pop musicians.
Of which I would probably know none.
Sure, but I mean, like, but they had like all these different groupings that all meant something when you had everyone pick that grouping.
Yeah.
And they completely got rid of that in the English version. They didn't do any groupings at all. They just picked random names.
I don't mind it. Because you could always name them whatever you
You
wanted
just lost
anyway.
another person?
I did.
Is it the goof off who's carrying everyone? No, that's
That's my fighter.
Is that your fighter? That's your fighter. Right, because fighters wear green clothing.
Yep.
It is very hard to tell the colors in this emulation.
It is, and part of the problem with that is the way, since I record these internally within the emulator, the raw video comes up being very small, and then it has to stretch. If I could...
Which is why it's very low res.
Right. If I could find the line of code that would let me change that, I would, but I can't find it.
You have programming experience?
No, but I know enough by dealing with website embeds that I can track it down and find it. If it's in like a config file.
Right.
VirtuaNest doesn't have one of those.
You are taking your time to res these characters.
I am. You know what I think I did? I think I was supposed to cut this out, because I think I left the room. Or maybe I did cut it out. I seem to remember that being longer. Oh, it was Jimmy. I was very torn. Do I revive Jimmy, or don't I?
Of course you do. You still need to get him up to level 20.
Yep.
He's an investment.
The only one I've ever followed through on. By the way,
This game definitely has good music.
I hate the tower music. I hate towers because of Dragon Warrior. And Lufia.
Though I do like the whole idea of you can jump off the higher floors and just get down to the bottom.
I do like that. I just hate having to climb up them.
I noticed that you got the Iron Claw before you got all your armor. That's very unlike you.
It is. But I kind of figured my fighter doesn't get a lot of armor anyway. So I would go ahead and do that instead.
I just remember you in many different Let's Plays talking about how you're a defense-focused gamer.
Like, there are instances where, you know, that doesn't always work out. Sometimes it's better to, you know, grinding. Sometimes it's better to be a little more speedy or hit a little bit harder. If there wasn't such a big discrepancy between the defense points plus the damage points of the claw, I probably would have gone defense first.
This scene amuses me. This was a huge deal back in the day.
Yeah, this is our second "but thou must" situation,
It's true.
and it's in the same video. It would be nice if, for the sake of experience alone, meant I got to level up and not get a class change.
But I mean, this was still a huge deal back in the day. Like, look, you're the king. Everyone's treating you like the king. In fact, you've even changed your sprite to being that of the king.
Grew a mustache, even though you're only like 10.
And then you're like, well, this kind of sucks because they won't let me out of this freaking castle town. And then you have to find the king and give him his kingness back.
I need the Staff of Change. That's what I need.
Yep.
King Rex Dart. Eskimo
I think
spy.
I think I should definitely co-commentate all the Dragon Warrior games in this series.
That might
with you.
be better. Otherwise, we're going to get a lot of dead air. Which we had almost none of in the first episode.
It's true. We have lots of stuff to talk about.
Let's rescue the village of Noangs.
It's because we're both old.
Ainals. Neels.
Yeah, I got no idea how that one's pronounced. And of course, what does the old king do? He goes gambling.
You think he would rather do that while being king because he would have access to more funds.
Well, I guess it's one of those things that, like, he has to be all kingly and, you know, set a good example.
Who's going to tell him not to?
I don't know. Maybe his father had a great sense of justice and told him.
I like the thought of a king going, tra-la-la, needs 6,400 more experience points.
Did I ever tell you the time about when I played Chrono Trigger and named everyone with punctuation marks?
No, you did not.
I did, and I think I named Chrono just exclamation point. So there's that one scene where I think it's after it's when you I think it's after Magus and you go back to the prehistoric era and you have that like kind of little dream sequence of now you're married to Marley and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it ends with like, you know, she's trying to wake you up because it's actually Isla trying to wake you up. So that entire block of text was, you know, where it was like, Chrono is actually exclamation point, space, exclamation point, new line, exclamation point, space, exclamation. It's just completely ridiculous.
It's fun when you can play with names like that.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw the first Dragon Warrior game. I was over at a friend's house and his dad was playing it. And his dad's name was Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And as we all know, Dragon Warrior 1, you could enter a really long name, but it would only show 4 letters in that initial little box. It's like, wow, the game knows his name and everything. So then I'd put my name in when I finally got it, and I thought my game was broken.
Chiso?
Yep. So whenever I am presented with the option to only use 4 letters, I like to think of creative things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Started recording another Let's Play today, and I only get 4 spaces, and so my lead character's name is Dude.
Usually when I play Dragon Warrior games, I name my main character Hero.
Mm-hmm. I thought his name was Dragon for the longest time, because he was the warrior.
Just like how you thought Zelda was the dude?
Yeah, for a little while. Then you read the instructions in that little poorly translated scrolling paragraph.
Yeah.
Where everything was in quotation marks.
And the village of the elves.
Not much of a village.
And that horse is such a naysayer.
Ah, human, I'll be kidnapped.
Hey, baby, what's up?
Anne is an ancient elvish name.
Yep. It's actually much longer, but they only had enough room for 4 letters.
In the first episode, I remember when I did the editing, I actually went and put a transition in between each edit. And that took me about an hour, so I didn't do that in this one.
Probably for the
So
best.
it's just very abrupt. Bam.
I remember playing this game, and there were certain creatures where, like, regardless of the palette swap, if you saw that sprite, it was worth being worried about how this fight would go.
Yeah.
And I feel like those zombie dogs was one of them.
That's how Doom worked for me. Whenever I would hear a Hell Prince or Hell Baron or whatever they're called. Just, ugh. To this day, I hear that and I'm like, oh, damn it.
So, Rob Magic, I think you could probably guess what that spell does.
Does it decrease agility?
No, this isn't,
It's not Phantasy Star.
This isn't Phantasy Star.
Damn it. They couldn't call it Osmos?
No.
I know what that means.
This predates Osmos.
Somewhere in this cave is a healing spring. And I'm thinking, oh, it must be this.
Nope.
No.
Chuck Testa.
And if my character could look forward and examine something, I would, have found that out. But he can only look immediately between his feet. Now, is the blue his hat, or is the blue his hair?
That's a great question.
Because it looks spiky, which would...
I think it's supposed to be his armor is all blue.
Yeah, but like I said, then his helmet is like spiky.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dragon Ball Z hair spiky.
Yeah, but, it could also be like, supposed to be... I'm doing motions with my hands as if you could see it.
I'm imagining it, and that's very dirty.
Like, almost like... Well, it's not like a crown, but I don't know. I mean, there's kind of like one of those dragony helmets or something.
I thought it was like a headband, and then...
Honestly,
like
I think as a
circlet.
kid I thought it was... I think as a kid I thought the same. Like, he had blue hair and, like, a white headband. But that doesn't make any sense.
No.
But then again, I didn't understand the concept of anime back in the day, so...
If you had blue hair, you were hot stuff.
Yeah.
Or green hair. Or green eyes. If you had...
Oh, he's got the green eyes.
If you had color, you were a force to be reckoned with.
And if you released the weasel, bad things had happened.
Indeed.
I remember at the end of the game, you were like, okay, I think I'm going to finally release the weasel. And then it wasn't that spectacular. Or was it? I can't remember now.
It was like some weird laser sword attack.
Yeah. I also loved using Wings of Wyvern in caves.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you...
Because, you'd fly up to the top of the screen and then bang your head
your
against the ceiling and fall back down.
I never liked that, because it would always tease me. Like, sweet,
one of
it's
those
gonna
things
work.
that-
Oh, damn it.
But it still was a neat little touch.
Yes, I agree.
Like, for pretty much, like, the father of, like, JRPGs as we know it,
Mhm.
this game did a lot of really neat things.
I suppose I could agree with that. I mostly avoided these games, so it wasn't until much later that I experienced them. So
you saw them after you've already experienced the future of it.
Yeah.
And that's the tough thing about retro games is it's hard to go back to them unless you have that nostalgic factor.
Mm-hmm. I always thought these moths looked absolutely stupid.
I thought they looked really angry.
Not a big fan of his artwork. Everybody looks the same.
Oh, dead end.
Jeepers.
No cookie for you.
Yeah,
I know you did it all for the cookie.
I did. Wish I had another beer. I don't. Should have got some at the store.
I think it was this song that Hyadane did a really awesome remix of.
Then I never listened much to the music, other than in the first game, just because that's the one I had.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the Hyadane remixes on YouTube?
The only thing I've seen on YouTube music-wise for the Dragon Warrior games is that
Thing you
playlist
sent me?
I sent you to. The orchestrated
Alright.
stuff.
I will have to send you a few links after we're done recording this.
Works for me.
Gotta love vampires in business suits.
Spoiler alert, viewers. We get a palette-swapped vampire later called Barnabas, who is referencing Barnabas from the Dark Shadows TV series, which they made into a horrible, horrible movie with Johnny Depp.
Aww.
Dark Shadows was good. I mean, it was so bad, it was good. Like, they had such a crappy budget. You could clearly tell that some of the art hanging on the walls was just cardboard. If a bug or something wandered onto the set, you would see, like, flies in the shots. They kept having to replace certain characters because they couldn't afford to pay certain people.
Oh, Fairwater.
And we're going to use that right away.
I feel like I remember hearing that the when you transition, like between like a covered area and an uncovered area, there's a higher chance than average that you're going to get into a fight.
Yeah, I complained about that, I think, in the second game a lot. I would, like, come down a staircase, and without moving, I would have to fight.
That I think they fixed in this version.
Actually, it happens in this version.
Does it?
Yep.
Maybe it was 4 that they fixed that.
I hope so. It's annoying. Gotta go get my wake-up juice.
You say wake up Jews?
Wake-up juice.
Well, maybe you'd wake up better if you didn't keep walking into a wall.
Well, when I'm playing the game, I usually play it double speed.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm walking into the wall for about 8 seconds here, it's only like 3.
Oh, so you're playing double speed, but this is like slowing it back down because it's all internal?
Yeah. So I can play the game fast-forwarded, and then it will put the video out normal speed.
Which is why you want to do the commentary in post, because it makes your life easier.
Yep. Plus, I can play this game while I'm doing something else.
So here's where you really need the Staff of Change.
Yeah, I think I tried that in the Super Nintendo version.
I think so. Like, as long as if you make yourself look to be like elves or something, she'll sell to you. Why did you come back in here?
Well, I figured if I left, maybe it would reset everything.
No, you actually have to change your form.
Yep. Plus, I like harassing the elves.
See, that always threw me off. Like, the first transition when it's going from day to night is so drastic
Yeah.
that it always feels like it actually has gotten dark, but it's still light out. It's still daytime as far as everything's concerned. And then you'd have to deal with a few more subtle changes before it finally was nighttime.
I don't know. They did this in Ogre Battle with the time system. You would always start off a stage and it would be noon. So you would get like very brief daylight and then a really long night and then a really long day. And I wonder if they do that here. Like when you first leave, what time of day is it supposed to be? You know what I mean?
Like at the very, very, very beginning of the game?
Well, like if you go to sleep at an inn and then you wake up, what time is it when you wake up?
I think it's the very beginning of the day.
Okay, see, that makes more sense. And that's something I didn't quite understand about the Ogre Battle games, because you wouldn't wait till the middle of the day to go and try and take over a castle.
Nope, that's true.
You'd do it. You'd want to leave first thing in the morning.
In fact, if it's a really hot region, you'd actually want to camp during the middle of the day.
Well, beer.
That's military tactics for you.
It was fun, beer. Thank you. I'll tell you a story here about beer.
Okay.
Much like a chain being as strong as its weakest link, the human brain can only operate as fast as its slowest cells. And we all know excessive intake of alcohol kills brain cells. So naturally, it would attack the slowest and weakest brain cells first.
Because they can't outrun the beer.
Right. It is in this way that regular consumption of beer eliminates the weaker brain cells, making the brain faster and more efficient.
So in other words, you get drunk as a form of natural selection.
Right. I go out and I drink for 6 hours every Wednesday, and then I'm smarter Thursday.
I'll let you keep believing that.
I usually don't feel it Wednesday night. by the time I get to bed. But, I'm pretty positive of it Thursday.
Are you trying to see if the thing's working now?
I have no idea. Which one is her mother, do you think? Which of the 3 other people that live here?
It's the old guy.
It says, isn't he human?
Yeah.
So why did they let him live here?
He's not living here. He's here to beseech the elves to remove the curse. And they've done so, but he's still here.
Edit.
Oop. Yeah, just a little.
Don't know what I did there. I might have.
Maybe did some more grinding.
I might have had 2 parts and spliced them together.
No any else. Aren't you supposed to go east from here?
I have no idea.
Why are you going back south?
I wasn't paying attention.
It doesn't surprise. Oh, you're gonna go east. This ways.
Oh no. I don't have repel yet.
Aww. Vampire cats!
Sounds like a band.
Probably is.
Like the Samurai Pizza Cats.
Samurai pizza cats!
I think I played that game one time. Oh, there was a game I was trying to remember yesterday that I wanted to see if you'd be interested in playing, and I remember what it is.
Uh-oh.
Snatcher.
I don't know it.
It's interesting.
That only frightens me more.
It's Konami interesting.
That doesn't necessarily help your case.
No, it doesn't. But they parody it in La Mulana a little bit. And while I was playing it, that's when it came into my head. Someone needs to Let's Play Snatcher.
So what is it?
If I remember right, it kind of takes parts of... Oh, here we go. That's the place. It kind of takes things from like the old Konami dating simulators and works in like first-person-y shooting action sequence every once in a while. The Snatchers are like cyborgs that are here to kill or kidnap people or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they show up in human skin, so you can't tell who they are. It's an interesting game. That's all I can really say.
Okay. Maybe I'll take a look.
Not quite Last Alert interesting.
What system is it for?
Sega CD, I think.
See, I think this is also the first RPG that ever had haggling.
Could be. Didn't one of the Ultima games have it?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I only ever played one of
Okay,
them.
it's the first JRPG that had haggling. You know that Ultima is one of the inspirations for Dragon Warrior, right?
I do. I'm his everlasting friend.
Man, as a kid, I totally used to call this town Assram.
That's dirty.
It was one letter off.
If you put an L at the end, would that be plural? Asramo?
No, I don't think it would.
Oh, that's too bad. So, I remember purchasing these. I think I purchased them. And then I found out later that I couldn't use them. Only the soldier or whatever can use them.
Aw. Yeah, that's the problem with this store, is that because like, it uses things, it just sells them to you. It doesn't do the whole, you can't use this. Are you sure you still want it?
I think the normal stores will do that.
Yeah.
But the haggling ones don't.
Revealing swimsuit, 78,000.
You know, I might have enough money in my game save right now to come and buy those.
Yeah, but I don't think they're actually good.
Probably not. Not like the ones in Shining Force.
Or, Lunar.
Oh yeah, those two. I almost want to play Lunar again. But then I don't.
In Persona 3, there's a few outfits where, like, I think one of them's like a swimsuit, and if you try to equip it on one of the female characters, you're like, what, really? But they'll do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the expanded version, Persona 3 Fest, they added alternate sprites with them wearing the special outfits.
I'm reminded that I need a picture to put at the end of this episode.
Is it going to be a character in a revealing outfit?
It might be me in a revealing outfit.
Bunny Girl Jason?
If you're lucky. Or not. However you choose to take that.
Jason of the Puff Puff?
Puff Puff Jason?
Puff Puff Jason.
I could go with that.
Want to have your fortune told? I bet that was supposed to say, would you like Puff Puff?
I don't remember what it said. I think it did just outright ask that in the Super Nintendo version.
Let's turn the lights off. I'm turning them off now. Yeah, that was totally the dad comes to give you Puff Puff instead. And that's just awkward.
More
How does
awkward
your
for you because you know what that means.
How does your shoulder feel? Okay, thanks for the fortune telling.
It's high impact fortune telling.
Yeah, I love how like the West censors things in the East and doesn't make any sense.
Well, and the instances in which they decide that some things need to be changed sometimes don't make sense either. Like, if you look at the Japanese version of Decap Attack,
Yep.
it's totally nice and cute and little kidsy. And then the American version is stupid.
So, my coworker was telling me a story about how, I think it was in Utah or something, where they censor movies on their own.
Okay.
So, there was this instance of these kids who were watching Toy Story, and they went to ask their parents why the movie was calling Woody Notion instead of Woody. As in, I've got a notion. And as a result, they actually were causing parents to have to explain why Woody is not an acceptable word for a movie.
My goodness.
Yeah,
That's dumb.
it is kind of dumb.
There's another game. Power Blade. The Japanese Power Blade. Totally different than the American Power Blade. I think
I remember.
we have
Oh, go
like
ahead.
Arnold Schwarzenegger with a boomerang and a cyborg suit.
Right.
And they have like little chubby guy in armor who I think shoots bubbles.
It's a little different.
It's quite a bit, and the story's totally completely different and everything. I know that happens. It happens. What you can do about it, but it just seems.
Well, I
silly.
mean, even the Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest characters, like, the heroes change pretty significantly from the Japanese versions to the North American versions.
Even this guy here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's this guy, but I know the first, like, Dragon Warrior 1, the guy looks completely different between the Japanese and North American versions.
I remember him looking really different on the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah. Because they went extra effort to medievalify him in the Western version.
And then he became Sir Schmoopy of Awesometon.
But, so what was I gonna say? I don't remember.
Because I don't think he had horns and all that in the Super Nintendo version.
No, I don't think he did it either.
I must say I prefer the American box art. Even though it doesn't seem to match the game much. And I really liked that in the game called Dragon Warrior, there's really only like one dragon you have to deal with.
Two.
Well, there's the green dragon that you have to fight to save the princess.
Yeah.
And then there's
the Dragon Lord.
the dinosaur. He's a dinosaur, not a dragon.
He's kind of dragony.
It's clearly a Tyrannosaurus.
Well, really, what's a dragon except a Tyrannosaurus with wings?
It has longer arms. Oh, here we go.
A big head and small arms.
That is-
I don't think you thought this first.
That is the only reason that I saw that movie. Because I saw that in the trailer.
Yep.
Why are you not seizing the boy?
I don't think you thought this through, Master. Master? And yet, it was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I found our picture for the end of this episode.
Ooh. Oh, God.
So, as I mentioned the other day, I was trying to get through Hell Temple.
Right.
And this is what you get for completing it.
That picture?
That picture.
Well, then you might as well post it now, because I'm sure no one will see it in the actual any La Mulana replays.
Nope. I even tried to get the remake, and the remake wouldn't work. I was going to play through the whole remake just to get through Hell Temple. I think I should probably actually purchase it instead of getting the demo.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. Especially now, if I don't know if it's going to work or not. That's why I get so many demos. Like Magica. I was going to play Magica. I can't play Magica. Because
It's a good game.
it requires me to have like one of 5 specific video cards.
Huh.
And then I looked them up and I'm like, hell no. I'm not spending all that money. Thank God I didn't buy the game.
Speaking of having one of 5 specific video cards, I still say one of my favorite nostalgia moments is looking back at old DOS games and seeing when they ask you what sound card you have. Do you have Adlib or Roland or Sound Blaster compatible?
And if you were really, really lucky, you'd have Sound Blaster 16.
And then, of course, it's like, what color scheme would you like? EGA, VGA, Tandy 16?
Or SVGA.
Ooh, SVGA.
That was a special one.
Yeah.
And now it's like, do you want 8 colors or 16 colors? And you sometimes they don't work very well. Because your monitor has too many colors.
Yeah.
Like, way back in the day when you were first learning about display settings. Like, okay, I can have 8 colors, 16 colors, 256 colors. Wow, I want that one.
Yeah.
And then,
What happened in the middle there?
but then you would get those weird tiles, which were like light blue with a bunch of green dots in them. And it looked horrible.
Wow. That's a lot of combat right there.
Do I have the cursed item in my inventory? I don't think I
Nope.
do.
No, you just go through forest, which has a higher encounter rate than plains.
Shouldn't be that high, though. That's ridiculous.
True, that was more like mountainous. Or hills.
One thing I miss is that in Dragon Warrior 1, when you were walking on hilly terrain, it actually did slow you down.
Did it?
It did, just a bit. You would take a step and then pause for about half a step, and then step, pause.
Yeah, but you wouldn't even notice if they're doing it. You're playing the whole game in fast
I
forward.
noticed a little bit. I decided I needed fairy water, so I came to the store.
Well, after that encounter rate, of course you did.
I think I've been ready for fairy water for most of the game. I'm okay with encounters. The one thing I don't like is that I have to manually select groups of monsters, or sometimes I end up wasting the whole turn. This Final Fantasy spoiled me. The later ones,
Wait.
anyway.
If you attack... Like, if you have two guys attack the same monster and that first one kills it, the second one wastes their turn?
Yep. I will say...
That I'm pretty sure they got rid of in the, I'm pretty sure they got rid of that in 4 as well.
I would hope so. But yeah, it'll say Rex Dart killed the vampire cat. Jimmy attacks ineffective, or whatever it says. There is no target,
yeah.
something like that.
Maybe they didn't get rid of that in 4. I don't remember anymore.
By the way, we're in Africa.
Yeah.
That's where the black people live. Go to the castle.
Are you in search of the magic key? Sure.
Nah,
Why not?
Just came by. Poor guy, he can never leave.
Yeah, he'd probably get killed by the swamp.
Now, it took me longer than I care to admit that I had to go all the way around on the world map to get to the castle.
Yeah, you have to enter from a different spot.
Yeah. And if they would have continued to let me walk through trees, we would have been fine.
Though
See?
you'd done this on the Super Nintendo version.
That was like almost 2 years ago. That's an old Let's Play. And honestly, that was the first time I had played through the game, even this far. Look at that, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Tremendous blow.
probably tripped on him.
Yeah. I think I was fairly annoyed at this point. Encounter rate, and I'd been playing probably for half an hour, which is why we're about an hour into the video.
I'm pretty sure one of those graves have something hidden.
On the grave or in front of the grave?
Yes.
Because I can't examine anything that's sitting on top of anything.
Yeah, no, I think in front of one of those 3 graves is like a seed or something.
If I go to a table and there's a big sack of money on the table, I can't even notice that it's there.
Still say this is a good game.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying I would play it rarely.
Look on the bright side. At least the camera's much better than Okage.
It is. This is true.
The camera shows you exactly what you need to see.
Boy, this is a good match. So here's what I do when I'm doing these. I save before I make my pick. And then I go and watch the fight. And then
pick the person who actually wins.
who wins, I load and go back and pick that person.
Right.
And then I do these fast forwarded.
But of course, it still mitigates the speed for us.
Right.
So we can see it nice in real time.
It's like I'm really there.
Still, again, this was a really neat thing back in the day.
I agree.
In fact, there aren't that many games that have done monster arenas where just you watch monsters beat the crap. Hey, you won that time.
I wonder why.
Oh, is this already with the?
Yep. It
Okay, I thought you just happened to get lucky the first time.
No, it when you use save states in an internal emulator, it doesn't keep what you do in between the save and the load. So obviously I saved before I did the bout, found out who won, loaded, went back and picked the winner, and it just cut out the middle where I watched the bout to see who won.
That sounds like that's some pretty hefty technology to be able to just say, oh, you know all that data that you recorded? Scrap it.
Well, the way these emulators work with their internal recording is they don't actually make a movie.
True, they're just exporting
Yeah,
the button presses and stuff.
Right. And then it plays that back. So it just kind of, in that text file or whatever file it wants to call itself, it just eliminates those lines.
Right, probably put some sort of marker that says a save just happened.
Yeah.
And then if a load happens, it deletes up to that previous save.
Yep. And I do that when
It's still
shopping.
pretty advanced tech.
It is. And when even thinking about this, I don't know of an NES emulator that is really consistently being currently upgraded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them that still don't have even like 1.0, but they've been around forever.
Yeah, this one, I'm using Virtua NES. Version 0.97
Right.
was released in 2007.
Never even reached version 1.0.
Nope. And if you go to the website to download the latest one, this is the latest one.
Right. Well, I mean, when it works, it works.
Yeah. There are
It's not like there's any new games that they have to make sure it works with.
There are others that I would like to use, like Nessie. I like Nessie. I think Nessie emulates some things a little better. But Bandicam won't register Nessie because I can't tell it to VSync.
I remember when I was a youth using Nesticle.
I remember Nesticle. I remember downloading it on the computers at school.
Just so that there would be a pair of testicles on one of the icons.
No, just so I could play Nintendo games at school. I was
a young criminal.
I was in 9th grade. I was the aide to the website class.
So the website class had AIDS?
It did. Just me. And for the most part, the whole point of the class was to learn how to make a website. But there wasn't enough material because we used Front Page Express for that to fill up a whole trimester. So we also did, just like typing and stuff like that. And no one ever needed help with typing. So while everybody else was doing their typing and stuff, teacher didn't have anything for me to do. So I'd play games. While the teacher would play us these fancy new MP3 files he found on the internet on his copy of Winamp.
I think it was in 11th grade. I was in a electronics class where, we did like circuit boarding and things like that. But it was like the first period class, so some of us would get there a little early, and actually might have been I think it was 11th grade. They would get there a little early, and we would play like Grand Theft Auto on the school computers.
This same teacher that I was the aide for went and got the freeware versions of Descent, I think Quake, Rise of the Triad, Blood, and something else. And he would put them all on the computer so we could all network play multiplayer stuff back then.
That's
I
cool.
was pretty good at Descent back in the day.
That was like the little ship game, right?
Yep. Can't play it anymore. Computer's too fast.
So it looks like this video is almost over. Should we start saying our goodbyes?
Yeah, I suppose. I do have to make time for this amazing picture to go on the end, though.
It is a pretty incredible picture.
Oh, I must have actually stopped the game.
Good work. Make sure you hold reset. Because if you don't hold reset, you could in fact lose all your data.
Right. Too bad I can't do that on an emulator. What were they
Yeah, well,
thinking?
you're probably less likely to lose your data on an emulator.
Speaking of holding reset while you turn power off, I came across, and the viewers I think will be interested in this, I came across an N64 emulator that is built into a physical Nintendo 64 game cartridge.
Huh.
You download your ROMs and you put them on an SD card, and then you put the SD card in the cartridge. So you can download the ROM and actually play it on the
your
console.
N64. That's kind of cool.
And it's got a Nintendo emulator in it as well, but the guy who made it is very, very adamant. Make sure, if you are saving your game, and it is a game cartridge that has an internal save, not one that goes on the memory pack, inside the cartridge itself, that you have to hold reset, or it will not work. So, Legend of Zelda, for instance, you would have to hold reset.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's a really nice looking little... I mean, they took an NES game, I would imagine the Superman one, and took all the innards out, put their innards in, you put the little SD card in at the top, and you can get it painted in any color you want. And they're about $100.
I like how you're talking about something being nice looking, while they're probably all looking at that picture.
Yeah, that is nice looking.
Oh yeah.
I'm wearing that same thing right now. Hat and whip included.
Oh baby, oh baby.
By the way, that guy, supposedly a descendant of a great ninja lineage.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
But he cannot grab a ladder while in the air.
Aw.
It's beyond his ability.
He must be the black sheep of the family.
Worst ninja ever, except for that Ninja
Yeah,
Gaiden
seriously.
ninja. And that other one. There's a lot of really, really horrible ninjas when you think about it. Anyway, thanks viewers.